What's up, everybody? It's me, Retrovan, and we're at another review. This time, we're going to be reviewing Jammer Lammy for the PS1. This game is very fun, and in some ways, I actually think it's better than the original Parappa. And I'm going to explain why right now, so without further ado, let's get on with the review. So the game starts off with Lammy, running to her concert. She's a little bit late, she's got to rock it out and all that, but turns out, yeah, she's late, and the Onion guy's there from the first game, Chop Chop Master Onion, and he basically wants you to learn the skills. The weird twist is that it was actually a dream, and he gives Lammy advice that she'll use later on in the game, saying, "I lost my dojo. Dojo, casino, it's all in the mind." And that's a weird thing that keeps popping up. It's almost similar to Parappa's I Gotta Believe. Her whole thing is my guitar is in my mind, which is a cool little thing too, because she's never actually playing the guitar, but in her crazy little imagination she is. He's almost level 0 though, even though they call it level 2, because you can't play as Parappa in that one, and we'll get to that soon as well. The second stage involves a firefighter, you gotta put the fire out and all that, so that stage is pretty cool. You gotta rock your way to it. The hose is obviously the guitar in that one. The next one, Lammy basically gets fat, eats a lot of food, and then she gets pregnant. Or it looks like she's pregnant, actually, and the caterpillar lady, who is the owner of the nursery, thinks that she's actually pregnant, and brings her in there. When she finds out that Lammy is, actually just fat, then they, say, well, you gotta rock your way through it. And she uses the baby as a guitar. And that's how that one goes. I know people put down the, mama, 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 mama song, but I like that song. It was pretty fun. Most of the songs are really catchy, because I'm not usually a rock person, but I like the way they handle it. It's very catchy, at least. After that, you basically latch onto a plane, and there's this one guy on the plane who seems to not have it all together. He probably shouldn't be a pilot because he has a different personality. So, he's a nice guy. He doesn't really know what he's doing at first, but once he gets hit in the head with something, then he becomes angry. He's like, do this, do that, and all that. And that stage does lead to interesting things, because, he'll, switch between nice and mean, and it, gets more rocky as he gets mean, and it gets really chilled as he's not. I like that sort of mix-up there. The next stage after that is a lumberjack man. So, now Lammy has to get her guitar made because, as we mentioned, she's not really using a guitar most of the time, but she's actually getting it made, and, she's got to help this lumberjack basically chop the tree down. That stage is pretty good. I would say, for me, that was, the first real point I had, actual bullshit in the game, because that one took a little bit to beat. But compared to Parappa 1, it was a lot easier, and just what got me in that stage was there's certain, button presses near the end that were just way too close. Just a small little critique that, made that stage a lot harder. So, after that, Lammy goes to hell. Wait, no? No, she goes to an island? Oh, wait a minute. Actually, there's actually two different versions of this stage. Now, the stage itself is the same, but the cutscene that leads to that stage is a little bit different. So, in the European version, I thought it would be worth mentioning, since, there might be some, people in the PAL regions that are watching, that in one of the versions, Lammy will slip on a banana because of PJ. PJ fucking killed Lammy. Crazy stuff, I know. And then she goes to hell, and she's like, is this hell? Am I dead? And they do this, fake, sort of ending credits thing, and then the guy comes and he's like, no, 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 wait, this isn't over. So I thought that was cool. Sadly, not in my version, though. The Americans, because, you can't have religious stuff in games, I guess, they said you can't have hell. So they made an island. So instead what happened is she's running out, she gets her belt stuck on the doorknob, and that, flings her back in time until she just flings right up to an island. And that island is when the same guy from hell comes in. He's like, come on, you have to start the show. But the actual show itself is the same. The only difference is that Lammy has camouflage on rather than her normal thing. So, mostly the same stage. It's not a big deal, it's just kind of a weird change. Now, the show in question that I mentioned is probably my favorite stage in the game. The song is just so catchy, and I love it. Is it hard as fuck? Yeah, it's a very hard one, because, even if you get the button timing correct, it can be a bit difficult, and I would say that it's one of the hardest stages in the game. But is it possible? Yeah. If you want to spend like half an hour on it, yeah, it's possible. I did. I wanted to beat the game. But after that, you get the final level where you finally get your guitar, you're finally out of hell / and or island, and then you go back to Katie and the gang. So basically, you know, they go on stage and they finally start, you know, doing that. And yeah, that's the final level. It's a lot like Parappa 1, where it's like you're performing for people and you have to do good or else you're a failure. But overall, I think it was a good sort of story for Lammy. But as you can imagine, that's not it for this game. There's a lot of other small things aside from the stages, like Parappa. I've mentioned before you could play as them, so we're going to get a little more in depth with that. And we're also going to talk about some of the unlockables you can get as Lammy, so let's get on to it. There are cool little things you can get as Lammy to change up the music again, like distortion and various other things. These ones are pretty easy to get, you just have to beat certain stages and they'll just give it to you, so that's pretty cool stuff. Again, they don't change a ton, but it is cool that there's like a little bit of differentiation in Lammy's music to get me more of a reason to redo some of them. If you really thought you rocked good or you rapped good, there's a thing called replays. I believe I mentioned that in my Parappa 1 review, where you could actually replay old tracks you did. Now, not like replaying the stages, but think of it more like, say I did really good, and I want to save a recording of it. There's 4 slots that will actually save recordings. Now, it's kind of disappointing it's only 4 slots, but you know, it's a PS1 game, so it's not too surprising. The fact that you could have even saved them back in the day, like, just to show your friends, man, I really rocked in this stage, was a cool thing. Nothing crazy, but it's a nice little add-on they gave to it. Now, Parappa's section might be a little bit shorter, because Parappa, yes, he does have a story. No, none of it is related to the stages he's in. So, basically, in Parappa's side, whereas Lammy was preparing for the concert, she's nervous about that, Parappa's story is kind of like him and PJ gotta set up stuff for Lammy and, you know, help the concert and all that. But Parappa and PJ think that they're like big, scary, muscular dudes and all that, and, you know, they're terrified of meeting them. And so the whole story is basically just they're doing random stuff after a Lammy stage. Again, not related at all. Still cool that, you know, they have a cutscene, like, after every stage. But most of them aren't related. Still a nice story, though. I like how they did that. Now, this game also has multiplayer. Sadly, it's only 2 players, and obviously because it's a PS1 game, not online. So I can't really show off 2-player because nobody else wants to play Lammy. But there is like an AI mode where you can go against Rammy, which is pretty nice. So Rammy is like an evil Lammy that you meet in the Island stage, and basically, she's like, you ripped me off, I challenge you. And you get to challenge her in every stage. So again, more replay value in the stages. I love that they do that. That's actually really nice, you know? Just the fact that they have, like, different variations. Now, it's not much variation, but it's kind of like you're going toe-to-toe with another rock star character, and it gets you, you know, again, a reason to do them. And I guess while I can, since I didn't really mention them too much, I love all the, you know, teachers and all that, just like Parappa 1. All of them are very unique and fun. The only one that's kind of weird is the caterpillar. She kind of creeps me out a little bit. Now, also mentioning the 2-player, you can play as Lammy and Rammy together, you know, just for double rock. But I think the coolest feature is being able to play as Lammy and also Parappa at the same time. How this works, you may ask? Well, first it'll start off with like the more rocky, you know, Lammy themed stage, and then on the next verse, like when player 2 has to do it, it becomes more rapish and chill, which is cool. I like the different mix of the two. It goes together very well, surprisingly. I think it's pretty obvious that I didn't have to say the music is really freaking good. I love the music in Jammer Lammy. In some cases, I love it more than Parappa 1. And not even just the Parappa raps. I just find that Lammy's tracks, even though, again, I'm not a rock person, are very catchy. They're not, like, overly done. They're not overly, like, brr, 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 but, you know, they're catchy. They got, like, a little tune to them as well, which I like.
It might be you, or maybe you. My mind is jumping back and forth and up and down. Somebody come and rescue me before an angel comes to take me round and round. Come over here, 'cause I can think of something for me and you to do. If I could have another, I really would. Somebody would come and pick me up with you.
Anyways, though, that was my review of Jammer Lammy. It's a very catchy rhythm game, and it's hard to say whether I prefer this or Parappa 2. But, like, this does still have bullshit moments, so I would say if I had to pick, Parappa 2 would probably have a slight edge just in terms of that being more accessible. But Jammer Lammy, I would say, in terms of songs, is better to me. So it's a really big draw, but overall, I think Jammer Lammy is a really good game. I would recommend it if you want to, you know, just have a fun time and rock out or rap out, since it's got both. Anyways, though, see you guys in the next video, and I'm out. Peace.